What is going on, my broskies? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And today, we're here talking about the brand new treasure map. And I'm going to be talking about the teams that I'm going to be using in this upcoming treasure map. First thing is first, the layout that I am using is a little bit different, but the layout like this, it is a lot easier for you to see the screen. Otherwise, the screen is a little bit squished. And I just think that for this particular video on this website, it's a lot easier to present you guys the information with this type of layout. You can see the teams much easier this way. Also, massive shout out to the website creators for the treasure map planner. Obviously, a link to this site is down below in the description. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I am going to go ahead and just delete some characters that I do not own. Who else do I own? I do not have this guy. I don't have the World Journey units. I don't have you. I don't have you. I should have pretty much. Oh, and I don't have Nami Robin, of course. So let's get into it. First things first, with these treasure map teams, I always like to build the final boss teams first. You can actually click on these bosses and it gives you guys a little bit of a rundown as to what the debuffs are for these fights. So against Rebecca, on this fight, the stage 5 is the first mini boss is against Rebecca. If you guys want to see more in-depth analysis in terms of what these bosses do, ways you can get around it, and free-to-play suggestions, you should go check out my treasure map preparation video. But for this, I'm going to be building more pay-to-play teams, right? So against Rebecca, she has the defense. So you need some way to get at the defense. There are a couple of ways around that. There are a couple of ways, like this carrot. If you pulled this carrot and you have Legend Nami Robin or just a Nami on your team, you can have this carrot support just to remove it after hitting it perfect, which is like the best case scenario. You could literally just use her as a sub as well to remove the defense as well. But what I will be doing is I'm actually going to be using this Viola because she's a boosted unit and she's really good, and that's basically it. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, I'm just going to be using her because she's boosted. So let's go ahead and chuck her on the team. As for what I'm actually going to be running, because this is the final boss fight, I want to be running the highest point boost as possible. So I'm going to be running double pudding. I'm going to have Mancherry on the team as well. So that's what it's going to be looking like so far. Now, another thing you need to note, moving on to stage 6 Viola, is on this stage, your cruise slots are changed into empty orbs, and they're changed into empty every single turn. And the thing is here is you get 2 turns of your chain coefficient reduction. So this is why this Mancherry is really good, because this treasure map rare recruit Mancherry changes empty orbs on Dex and into matching, locks them for 1 turn, and then reduces those debuffs by 2 turns. So it makes a lot of sense to use someone like that. So with that in mind, we don't really need anything against the Viola stage specifically, but then moving on to stage 7. So you get paralyzed for 4 turns. That's the annoying thing. If you have Nami and Robin, it's much easier for you because their special just removes the paralysis. Obviously, you could rely on a friend captain, but I would say when you are building treasure map teams, you shouldn't go into it expecting, yeah, I'm going to have this specific friend captain up. Unless if you own the character, it's going to be very difficult to locate those friend captains. Unless if you literally know they're going to be up 24/7, but you can't guarantee that. So I would say build your teams without that friend captain in mind. It makes it a little bit easier in those situations where you can't use those specific friend captains, right? So be very, very careful about that. Now, as for that, obviously if I find a friend captain Nami Robin, I can just use them as a captain, as a friend captain, which makes a lot of sense. Also, your captains are despaired for 5 turns. So with sockets, you need to remove 2 turns of despair. And then that's basically all you really need to know, as long as you like kill them on that first turn or within the first 2 turns. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using the Fortnite of Dr. Hirolook. This guy's really good because his special effect reduces your crew's HP in half, which is annoying, but then it reduces despair and paralysis by 3 turns, changes tandem and recovery to matching. So the really good thing here is we can just tank a hit on turn 1, and then on turn 2 use his special, remove the despair, remove the paralysis, and then we can kill from there. Now, as for the final unit I want to bring, I'm going to be using Toshigi because of her attack boost. She gives her 2.25 attack boost if you have Dex int characters, 5 or more characters with Dex int orbs. So we can easily achieve that with the Mancherry giving us the board of matching slots. So that's the ideal strat here, and that should work if everything goes to plan. That should be working. So that's what I'm going to be doing against the Rebecca and Viola. So going through, let's start from the very end here. So the first of the Battle Rush bosses is against Perona. Perona is actually pretty easy. The only thing you need to worry about with Perona is she has a barrier. You have to hit 2 perfects to break through her barrier. So like a way you could get through it is by using double X Drake. His special ability removes 1 turn of barrier, and obviously you can remove more turns of it the more strength X and quick slots that you consume. But if you just have 2 X Drakes, you can launch both of their specials and remove the barrier. That is an option, but personally what I'm going to be doing is using the Mako and Ace as the captain. Now, their cooldowns are really high because they're not fully maxed out yet. No one on Global can have them fully maxed out yet, but they're still a decent captain. I think when it's in the Mako form or the Ace form, one of them is a 3 times captain, the other one's a 2.75 captain for strength. So then we can just fill it out with some strength characters. So that's what I'm going to be doing because it's a lot harder to put Mako and Ace on a team rather than the X Drake. So I'm just going to use the Mako and Ace as the main captain here. As for the rest of the units here, we could use this TM Big Mom to give us the G Orbs and the color affinity, the attack boost, the orb boost. It just makes it much easier that way. We can actually run Trafalgar Law as well if we wanted to get matching slots to do even more damage. And then as for the last unit, well, it doesn't really matter what the last unit is because the only thing you have to worry about is a barrier. So we could just run any strength character. It doesn't really matter what it is. Are you a free spirit unit? You are a free spirit unit. Like, you could use Morley, I guess, because okay, it's all immunity, so you can't really use Morley then. We'll just use Luffy Zoro. It really doesn't matter. As I said, it does not matter at all. So that's a 4.25 multiply team for a mid-map is very good. Reiju, in my opinion, is the most difficult of these bosses because you have to deal with 5 turns of bind to 2 random characters on your subs. So your captains will not be binded ever. It's only your subs that will be binded. So 2 of these subs will be binded for 5 turns, 2 turns after max sockets. So it's ideal to have a captain that can remove bind. Another thing is that you have to deal with the damage threshold. So there's 4 turns of damage threshold. Really, really annoying. So you need a captain that can get rid of bind and a unit on your team that can get rid of the threshold. So what I'm going to be opting to do is to run this Perona as the captain. It's a 3 times captain if you have a Dex and Int character on your team. And then the special ability, obviously removing bind and reducing defense, changes block and adjacent orbs into matching. So it's a pretty good special. And then to remove the threshold, I'm going to be using Jewelry Bonnie. She gives us a full board of recovery slots, which as a sub, she makes them beneficial. And she removes the damage threshold. She's like the perfect unit for this boss fight here. This is the most ideal situation for this particular boss. So I'm going to leave this for now because we can all we need to do now is fill it out with damage boosters. And the thing is, Dex and Int are going to be quite predominant in this treasure map. So I might leave that for now and we can come back to that a little bit later. So Koala, speaking about her, she gives you a really low chain lock. It's a 1.1 chain lock for 3 turns. And she gives you a full board of badly matching slots. Now there is one unit in particular, this Christmas Nami. She removes the chain multiply limit, which is the chain lock, and then also changes block and badly matching orbs into matching. So she is like the perfect unit. Her special alone gets rid of all the bad shit that happens against Koala. So you just have to fill out the rest of your team to deal with Koala. So what I'm opting to do is to be running the Robin. Now, this is also something very important, is because when Koala dies, she does 30,000 damage to your team. So you need some sort of way to block that amount of damage coming in. So there are a couple ways. You could use this Robin, of course, because her special will nullify all damage for 1 turn, and then gives your cerebral characters an attack boost. That's the most ideal character to bring, but you don't need her. You could run someone like Kiyoshiro, who is a damage threshold reducer, whatever it is, or a 80% damage reducer if you're below a certain HP threshold. Yeah, if you're above 99%, you get damage threshold, and then if you're below that, you get an 80% damage reduction. Either way, both of those effects will block damage. You could also use this Rare Recruit Alvida to block the damage as well. There are a couple of options there. I'm going to be opting to bring the Robin, right? The Robin just makes more sense to me because much better captain, really good special for an attack boost, no real problems there. Now, all we need to do here is just fill it out with some cerebral characters, so I might come back to that one a little bit later. So as for Hancock, Hancock is a little bit, I feel like Hancock is actually pretty easy. The only thing you have to worry about is that your subs, your crewmates here, are going to be special binded for 2 turns. So there is one character in particular that's boosted that works very well, is this Treasure Map Orobi. Her special ability just removes the silence or special bind, and then also has the Sailor effect to reduce that. Another character that I want to bring in order to get more damage for my team is Colosseum Magellan, because Hancock has a delay immunity and a defense down immunity, so you can still apply poison, toxic, whatever you want, and get a conditional boost off of that. So Magellan's really good. And now as for captains, well, this Lucy is going to be perfect. Lucy allows us to get the massive captain effect, but you do need a quick, a strength, and a dex character. So we do have to fill out this team with a strength and a dex unit. Now, we don't have an orb booster, and there are no 1.35 orb boosters here now, so I'm going to be opting for Colosseum Oven. Here's a 1.75 orb booster for Strength Dex Quick, so that makes the most sense there as we get a follower coming in on Twitch, so there we go. So the next one under that, we need a dex unit. We could run this Carrot because she's a 2.5 chain locker. That would give us more damage there for sure. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I think it's going to be a lot of damage, so I'm just going to run this. No, I want to run this. I want to run this. It doesn't really matter. It really doesn't. Anyways, so that team is pretty much all complete. Now we just need to fill out the rest of these teams here, and we need to focus on Carrot. But I'll focus on Carrot once we've completed these ones, because remember, Carrot is the intrusion battle, which can overlap any characters you want. It doesn't matter what, you know, characters you use for this fight, because they do not count to your units for these fights here, so it's fine. So against Reiju, the fact that she is quick, we want to be running a lot of dex units, but we do need at least one int character to enable the captain effect of Perona. So I think I'm going to opt for Whitebeard because she does have a delay immunity, right? Or an immunity? Yeah, so you can use Whitebeard, you can use his special, and that will give your whole team a just a 2 times orb boost. So that works pretty well. So now we can just fill that with some dex characters. So I think we'll just fill it in with like this Elvita, for example. And well, you actually can be int, so I might put you here for a chain lock. And then we've already got an attack boost on... We don't have an attack boost on this team, so I could use Dofi there. And then you... What do you do, actually? You do bind and attack down, adjacent orbs matching. Nothing amazing. I might just put you here, and then maybe you here. That probably makes the most sense. And what does that give us for amount of points? So 4.25, 5.38 is huge. 4.25, 4.25, 8.61. So that's pretty good, I think. I'm pretty comfortable with those teams right there. So we do have the Carrot intrusion battle to go through. So Carrot, her preemptive on stage 1, you need to be building predominantly with Dex and Int, because those characters are the only ones that get the cooldown reduction. So you predominantly want to be building Dex and Int teams. So stage 2 is a bind to your middle row for 5 turns. So after sockets, it's 2 turns of bind to your middle row. And then your slots are changed to empty. She has a full immunity buff as well. And then when she reaches 0, she heals for 50% of her crews of her max HP, and she buffs her own attack. So of course we want to be running the Man Sherry. And because I don't have Nami Robin, I'm going to be opting for Double Legend Pudding as my captain here. So what I'm thinking is when we reach stage 2, we get the full board of empty slots and we get the bind. So we can use Man Sherry to give us the full board of slots. She then locks those slots as well, so we can kill her. And then when she revives, we will once again have a full board of matching slots once again. So another thing that we need to worry about is what happens on the next stage. So stage 3 Carrot has the preemptive of attack down for 3 turns. Immunity buff and a % damage reduction, okay, and then a full board of block orbs. Well, that doesn't matter because Pudding has a special that can get rid of those block orbs, so I'm not really too worried about that. But removing the attack down and the % shield is going to be annoying. So let's filter int and then attack down. What have we got here? Colosseum Neptune is the only unit that fits the description, so it looks like Colosseum Neptune is going to be the way forward. The really cool thing is I think all of them, yeah, I think they're all cerebral. They are. Okay, that actually works out pretty well. So not only do we remove the attack down with Neptune, but he also gives us the 1.75 orb boost to Cerebral for 3 turns. That's actually pretty impressive. Okay. So we need to remove the % shield as well. Is there an int character? Just make sure this is all clear. An int character that removes the % damage reduction? Reduce enemy % damage reduction. This one. There is not. Except for the sugar, which is boosted and I don't have. Okay. So we need another unit that can do that. That is an attack booster. That is pretty good. And obviously I can't see the rest of the units that I've used. We could actually use the Viola once again. So in this situation here, we have everything here. We've got an orb boost. We've got a good way to get rid of stage 2. We have a way to get rid of the % damage reduction, and we've got color affinity on that stage as well. The only thing that I'm thinking is that we probably need some sort of attack booster. So what I'm actually, you know what, it makes a lot of sense. We can actually go ahead and run, where is the unit? Tashigi. Right, so with a team like this, what we can do is on that stage, on stage 2, when we use the Man Sherry to get rid of the bind and give us the matching slots, we'd actually use a Tashigi special, which will give us the 2.25 times attack boost to Dex and Int. Use both pudding specials and store both, like, so that we have 2 attack boosts. On the revive, we use one of those puddings, so we have an attack boost once again. And then when we move on to stage 3, when we get the full board of block orbs, the pudding changes those into matching, and that attack boost is applied once again. We've got the orb boost, we get rid of the attack down, we've got the color affinity, we get rid of the percent damage reduction. Makes a lot of sense. I feel like this would be a perfect team for this treasure map, right? So unfortunately, it feels like in terms of teams that I've built in the past, I feel like this is a relatively low multiplier. I feel like that could be, I wish it was a bit higher, but you know, what can you really do? What can you really do? Either way, I'm still relatively happy with these teams. It seems like this should be able to work for a pretty long time in this treasure map. I did talk about it a little bit on stream today. After I did my treasure map pulls, we went ahead and we tried building some of these. So I think this is a pretty impressive set of teams and should be able to last for a pretty good amount of time. But that's going to wrap up this one, guys. Hopefully this helped you out and give you guys a little bit of insight as to how I be building my treasure map teams. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.